Descendants of slaves, this is for you. It's not easy doing what I do. I know I'm a small channel. It's not easy coming here all the time. There's sometimes when I do talks, I have to delete them. Sometimes when I'm around people that are black people who are not interested in this importance, the stance, this dire situation, this state of emergency. They're not interested in it. And it's our very, very life at stake. You got all kinds of people walking around that's cavalier about what we have experienced as they gain access from it, from us and our hardship of slavery and the descendants of slaves, which I am. We got people that are mirroring wealthy conditions and safety conditions concerning our hardship, right off our hardship. Say, for instance, and I'll just say this, and I know you know what I mean. Say, for instance, you had to kill something to survive, if you just had to. Well, we're the thing that you kill. Say, for instance, if there was a machine where you had to kill insects to make them batteries so that the machine could work. That's who we are for America. That's who we are globally, actually, as I study, even in Africa. But I'm not going to fight for them because they are a massive society that has not necessarily by far been in our favor for our lives. We are a people, descendants of slaves. We have been in this country 400 years as designed, and we have been bred and born in this country as a people. So we are descendants of slaves. Of course, we got a name from the government, and it was called the Negro, and we're still called Negro. A lot of us, we want to change it. We want to go with the phoniness of Jesse Jackson starting the African American. You know, that right there name is a whistleblower term, whether he knows it or not. I'm not trying to disrespect the minister. Now, any elder that's concerning black empowerment or someone before me, but we have to look at this thing strategically and understand it. And, you know, it wouldn't even be bad for us to continue with the name Negro, as far as I'm concerned, because it was given under hardship and it is a litigation and a direct connection to our suffering and a direct connection to our legacy in terms of who we are and what we have done specifically. So that's not totally bad. But if we want to say black, yeah, black, that's what I say. I'm a black person because people say that too from other countries that are black people. But you're only black when you come to America, to the United States. They're not black in their countries. They're either Nigerian, they're either, Ethiopian, or some form of whatever they are, islanders, they're Haitian or whatever. But we are black people. And when you come here and you say that you're black people and everybody's saying that, that is a cloakness to who we are to gain access to what we never had. This is a Jedi mind trick, and the white supremacists know that. They have a group of people here that are descendants of slaves and that have been slaves to build this nation and that made this nation great. Other folks know it, and they want to cloak their way in our politics or in our political capital that we don't use or that we have been desensitized to or dysfunctional to use. You see, and they are paying attention to it because they never suffered it. They don't have to worry about the backlash or the shadow of what it actually comes with. Jim Crow and different things, or what it actually done to us as a people. They can benefit on what it's supposed to do for us politically. You have to understand this. And right now, I challenge black people to go and hear people like Fannie Lou Hamer talk about her experience doing Jim Crow. You see, those are our mothers. We are the children of these people who was a direct sharecropper during the time Dr. King's regime when he was out being a civil rights icon, someone who was fighting for a free handshake, which he was quiet. He was kept quiet and harmed because of this. And this is only because he got to the economics. Well, Fannie Lou Hamer from Mississippi, Ruleville, Mississippi, she was also screaming through the House of Representatives, shouting through the House of Representatives about her experience and calling groups together for a right, for civil rights, a right to vote, which we'll talk about that too, because a right to vote is not necessarily freedom. It ain't. It's actually right now our problem because black people are used in terms of intellect to go against themselves. And we have voted against ourselves in this presidency with the Joe Biden president. So our right to vote has been tampered with as well. Our ideology, our intellect as descendants of slaves by a higher percentage has been colonized because we don't understand and has gotten away from our true and real legacy and concern to be corrected. We should be looking for legislation. Homestead Act should be given to us in terms of economics and number so that we can live in this place of wealth that other people benefit from off our hardship, off our blood and pain. People come in here, don't even realize who we are and don't have a education on what this is benefiting from our suffering that is inhumane, that is dire state. And they're killing us or harming us with impunity by way of constitution, by federal mandates, by federal manipulations, by that, where as though these people are being given money, bills passed, agents, Latinos, Hispanics, where they are being protected by our government as a power source over our heads that which we support, which we pay into with our lives, not just tax dollars. That's our life we pay into with our history. So this is the real existence. This is the real situation. And we are we are largely in the matrix. I mean, not to say all of us are, because I'm not. My mind is revolutionary, as you can tell. But we are largely in the matrix running around while people help us normalize our suffering and our inability to stand. You see, and then constantly manipulate our stance while they're saying this is normal, it should happen, it's supposed to happen. So you're telling me that it's supposed to happen, that I am starved out of safety. You see, wealth is safety. It has nothing little to do with, okay, well, we're going to be fancy and we're going to do this. No, this is for people who actually have it as a sport. For us, it would be safety. You see, you're talking about someone who's never really been implanted in that place. We need to be safe. Wealth is safety when you can protect each other and begin the process of correcting among one another, coming out of poverty. Because when you're impoverished, you are adjacent to crime. That's the science. So you got these people that are black who can be mishandled by society because they now are vulnerable to what they need, coming from all the way back to the Homestead Act, where people are owning land. In Georgia, the hotels, the Comfort Suite, the Economy Hotel in Roswell, and all these different places, they're sitting on top of tobacco fields where white men own the land. And plantations are in there as museums to mirror the legacy of slavery. While we yet still pay taxes, while other groups have been basically incentivized or taken care of off some historical hardship and crowbar in their way in our policy and our legacy and identity. So they have business camaraderie that the East Indians own, sitting on cotton and tobacco fields that they're buying into, and we are not loud enough. We're quiet. This is a problem. This is a problem. Walking around, we have Kevin Klein on, Michael Kors, whatever we have, Louis Vuitton, our cell phone, our new iPhone 13, with our little job, working on the Kaylee, the white girl, working somewhere where an immigrant in your with an accent thinking they are better than you because you belong to the legacy of the country slaves, and you don't speak loud enough, and you have been dealt with an egregious action where as though you didn't get advantage to take advantage of the freedom and the liberties that the United States offer to her children, but yet give it to a people from another nation to say and to make them a real people according to what this is. But you are a descendant of those who were brought here to actually suffer, to buffer other groups. This is still today in effect. You are here to die. Like if you use something to die as an apparatus so it can build. Say if you, like a battery. Say, well, I need this battery to provide my experience, to provide my comfortability, but it's gonna die. That's who you are as a descendant, because you haven't been corrected to be in ownership, to you to have batteries, so you to make government your battery. We can make government our battery. And that's by becoming tax exempt, having the Homestead Act, getting reparations, cut the check, so that I can be a man before my children in this society which you have stolen from me by blood and hardship and heinous exchange, practice of punishment to my people, mirroring my hardship with your plantations everywhere as museums, and other people coming here getting legislation passed for them. You tell me this is inhumane, this is right before you, this is treasonous with our politicians. And I want you to know that. And we here and we standing. It might not be very many of us right now, but we're not going to take our foot off y'all necks. Cut the check.